Hello, and welcome to another update video about RNDR. We've been tracking here this possible unfolding so-called diagonal pattern to the upside, which is basically an unreliable pattern. It's a pattern which, however, often happens in the beginning of a new rally. In the beginning of a 5-wave move to the upside, as sketched out here, you often get these diagonal patterns. Diagonal patterns are difficult to trade. Some of them have an overlap between waves 1 and 4, some don't. And let me just check something. Yeah, some don't. This one doesn't. Depending on where I put the wave 1, I could also put the wave 1 here, put the wave 2 probably down here. That's also possible, but that doesn't really change the overall picture. It just means now we have suddenly an overlap between waves 1 and 4. That is only allowed in a diagonal pattern. And this would be a so-called leading diagonal. And it is basically impossible to say when it's going to be finished because a diagonal runs as long as it is exhausted. It does not adhere to normal Fibonacci extension targets. It is also just the first wave of a possible 5-wave move. So you don't really have the previous waves that you normally need to calculate a target. From that point of view, diagonals are very difficult. We covered them today in our member live stream. The trouble that you have with these diagonals is sometimes you can identify a channel, some kind of a trend channel that you would then think the price is adhering to. It sometimes can give you a false sense of security because, how do I draw the trend line? I've got a trend line down here. That's fine. In this trend line down here, I've got enough touch points to make it a valid trend line. Now I could make an attempt to just take a parallel line and try to find a way to connect the dots here. And this way of doing it, at least I've got 2 touch points here between waves 1 and 3. But will wave 5 really adhere to it? I don't know. There are different ways of doing this, okay? And I think we just need to be careful with these diagonals. If the diagonal comes down now, and it will come down at some point here, and I think we are not far off a possible move down, but I have as I said in the last video as well, we had no indication that it had topped yet. No indication at all. Maybe when we break below the trend line, but at the moment there is just no clue. Problem is with these diagonals, you don't really know when it's finished. I mean, I've got here a wave 1, I've got a wave 2, a possible wave 3, certainly not the shortest. If wave 3 is sort of medium length, it could mean that the after wave 1 was shorter. It could indicate that the 5th wave will be very long. But in the end, it runs as long as it runs. That's the problem. And what you can do, though, is you could wait now for at some point then for a possible pullback. Now, while diagonals are extremely difficult to trade, you could wait for a pullback in a wave 2, which is sketched out here. The pullback area or support zone is between 147 and 80 cents. And from here, it could then rally in a 3rd wave to the upside. So with diagonals, they can, of course, also fail. And if invalidation occurs, it will have to break below the beginning. We talk here about a break below 27 cents. If that breaks, it's of course invalidated. But the knowledge that you get by looking at a diagonal is that either it fails and breaks and invalidates it and it's gone completely, or if it holds, the next wave up will be very, very bullish because it would then be a 3rd wave rally. So you can use that information for trading. This is the support area the price should see. Sometimes after diagonals, the move down is very, very fast and far. So you could rather look at, or at least be ready for a possible pullback to the 78.6 retracement, maybe even more. But in this current setup, this would be the relevant support area. And in terms of structural resistance, we have this range come up. Especially the high at 327 is relevant, but really we are now in resistance here. This is an area of previous trade, but let's see if it can push through. And unfortunately, I cannot really give you a clear target for the upside. I mean, it makes sense to look at possibly 327 because that's a significant swing high. it makes sense to look at the swing low, but we're above that already. So we're above 222. And it's a bit of one where I would say I would let it play out. Pullbacks to trend lines can always be traded, but be aware that when you do that and try to buy the pullback to a trend line, that you might need a few entries to actually have an entry that will be successful. The problem is that at any point this could come down. Yeah, but at present I have no indication that this has topped yet in its fifth wave of the first wave, but I think we should be close. It's just that at the moment there is no indication. Now you already see on the daily chart the bearish divergence, yeah, on the RSI. So it is some kind of a signal that things might be changing shortly. Okay, that's my update about RNDR. I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.